It's 2011. You unlock your 4th gen iPod Touch. After watching the latest ASDF movie, checking out some epic fails and Chuck Norris memes, you open up the App Store. What's this? Unreal console quality graphics. Epic multiplayer. It's time to get your iTunes gift cards, get mum to put in her password, and pray to God she doesn't notice the 17 plus age rating, because it's time for a hit of that nostalgia. Mobile games have always tried to unapologetically suck you dry of every dollar you own, but there was a time when it was easy to find games that didn't, when there were devs who were putting in genuine effort into making AAA style experiences on your mobile device. Chances are, if your cousin Timmy had a sick game on his PS3 that you wanted to play, you could probably find a similar one on your phone. Big emphasis on the word similar. These included, but were not limited to, Pirate Assassin's Creed before Black Flag ever came out, Team Fortress 2 meets Battlefield Heroes, generic modern military shooter franchise, generic World War II shooter franchise, Max Payne, John Cannon. I can't get you GTA 4, but I could probably do Gangstar West Coast, Miami, Vegas. How about Rio? Why not try bootleg Halo? Red Dead Redemption? Hope you liked Undead Nightmare, because we got more than just zombies. Injustice, Gods Among Us, where you play as the gods of Rome. This one looks pretty cool actually. Can somebody please remind me which Uncharted game this is? Now, what did all these games I just talked about have in common? Well, they're all made by the same developer. These guys took more than a little inspiration from console games. In fact, they rather shamelessly ripped off every major franchise and turned them into mobile games. And the best part? They were good at it. They even made a bunch of licensed games. Iron Man, Spider-Man, this Arkham-style Dark Knight Rises game. They even managed to get Tom Hardy to reprise his role as Bane.
But your valiant efforts have been in vain. Today, Gotham burns.
And of course, who could forget Minions Rush? Most of these games weren't exactly classics, except maybe Minions. But do you think I ever stopped to consider if these games were actually any good? No, what am I, stupid? Just the idea that I could take these big boy games with me on the go was so cool. Oh, what's that? What you got there, Gerald? Fruit Ninja? That's cute. Check this out. I don't know what it was, but these games had a real charm to them. Maybe it was that the multiplayer was always fun. Maybe it was the terrible stories and voice acting.
You pussy! You fucking bitch!
I'm the man here. You can't talk to me like that.
Oh please, I'm twice the man you'll ever be.
Or the complete lack of subtlety in how they ripped off other games. Gameloft weren't the only ones pushing this tech, and a lot of exclusive to mobile games were actually far better than the ports and adaptations of console ones that were coming out. Have you ever played Black Ops 1 Zombies? Now imagine controlling that on a phone with far worse graphics and sound.
No, it's my vodka! Mine!
Meanwhile, we have Dead Trigger over here with its fancy graphics. What held these games back were their controls. Games like these are really just not meant to be played on mobile. Your hands are on a tiny screen, half of it's occupied by simulated joysticks, buttons, your fingers are covering everything, it's just a mess. When the iPod's all you have, you get used to it, but once you pick up that controller or mouse and keyboard, there's no going back. Now, there were devs who made excellent use of touchscreen controls. There are plenty of fantastic games on mobile that don't control like playing Dark Souls on your Guitar Hero controller, but these tended to have more of an indie vibe. They didn't satisfy that AAA thirst, but there was one franchise that did. A trilogy of games that brought a AAA feel while not being abysmal to control. And that franchise was Infinity Blade. This game just blew the others out of the water. There was no contest. Look at this. Do you really need me to tell you why this is awesome? This is like a real game, guys. It's like a real video game with its incredible graphics, beautifully intuitive and cinematic gameplay that worked so well on a touchscreen. It plays like an interactive cutscene, a fully fleshed RPG with hundreds of unique enemies, weapons, armor and abilities, a world and lore developed by Brandon Sanderson, intense 1v1 encounters where every enemy is a 3-phase boss fight. It had Troy Baker as Cyrus, and it actually had good voice acting and characters, like how sick is this line?
Fight your way over here, then we'll be on with our climactic final duel, or whatever you want to call it.
Everything about this world, story, and character design was inspired and original, a world full of selfish immortals in a blend of fantasy and sci-fi. Nothing in it was a rip-off, except for this Duel of Fates Star Wars fight.
And I yearn for the glory of a duel for the fates.
closest thing I could compare this to is Dark Souls, but even then, it's only in tone and some gameplay elements. Infinity Blade still offers an experience that is 100% unique to mobile. If Gameloft was pushing boundaries, Chair was defining them. Nobody had ever done something this good on mobile, and despite a lot of other attempts to replicate its success, I don't think anything has come close. And so for a while, with all these games on the App Store, there was this absolute feast of games with that AAA feel. It was truly starting to feel like my iPod could one day fit in with the big boys. So what happened? Where are we now? Well, the App Store is a desolate wasteland. Fuck. Devs have no shame in baiting you to play their shitty base builder with ads that will make you question your sanity, as well as if you are legally skilled. Trust me, it's a very, very important qualification to have. To put it simply, on mobile, $5 is a high asking price. Developers know what works, and they know what sells. And both these companies ended up shifting towards free-to-play games. Other devs seem to have figured out this platform a bit, and have either been making decent ports, or just outsourced their IPs to Tencent. People have started to take these games seriously now. Have you ever seen a PUBG mobile tournament? But I didn't make this video to bitch about the state of gaming on the App Store. Rather, I made this video to bitch about what actually happened to these old games. Not only have most of them been delisted from the App Store, but they aren't even compatible with the latest operating systems, and can't even be downloaded. Most of Gameloft's library is unplayable, which, if I'm being honest, I can forgive. These games being shitty knockoffs and all, there's always something better. But Infinity Blade being unplayable, oh no, that makes me upset.
A waste. Such a fine creation slain for no reason.
The fact that they would remove all 3 games from the App Store 2 days before putting the Infinity Blade into Fortnite is kind of an insult to the legacy of this franchise. This is the Fortnite sword now, bitch! And so like that, what feels like an entire generation of games will be extinguished from people's memory as time goes on. Less and less will be playable, and those that are will be forgotten by those who purchased them, never to be played again. These games were an important part of my childhood, and I'm sure that there's many others who can relate. So, how can we preserve them? Well, for Gameloft, the answer is easy. Just make them playable somehow on PC. Maybe hit up Tencent for emulation, or release them on Steam in a bundle or something, and maybe leave that subscription stuff on mobile where it belongs, so that they can be played in a way that would do them justice. Come on, Gameloft, I want to play N.O.V.A 3 multiplayer on PC. Infinity Blade is a little harder. The first thing I would say is to put a bit of that V-Buck money towards the re-release and maintenance of these games on iPhones. Second thing I would say is to release these on Switch and PC. Make use of the motion controls. That would work a whole lot better than whatever you had planned on Kinect. And this sort of thing has worked before. And if not, for God's sake, give the IP to someone who can make a sequel or a spin-off, because this franchise deserves a continuation. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this trip down memory lane as much as I did. Check out some of my other videos and subscribe for more epic gamer content. See you next time.